time I try to debug my mind, might go through riddle, you always rewind. You find the errors in every nested loop. Oh, clever llama, master of the code. You solve our mysteries just like I was told. VFDs and VLCs, you know them well. Edging my secrets, do you ever...
Welcome back. Today's video is the fourth video of the basic AMC template series. In this video, we're going to teach you how to set up the user units for a ball screw actuator. And hopefully you'll be able to set up the user units for any other application as well. Let's get started. So today we're going to be showing how this user unit block works. And to make it easier, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a little series of parts in the bottom of the screen so that you can visually see what's going on. Okay? So in order to do this, first we're going to need a motor. Next we're going to use a ball screw shaft which is connected to the motor. And then we're going to put a ball screw nut on there. The ball screw nut is used to travel up and down the ball screw as the motor rotates. We're not going to connect anything to the ball screw nut. It's just for illustrations. But because we're talking about user units, we're going to also need a ruler. This ruler is not really scaled to anything in real life, but we're going to pretend that each one of the little marks counts as 1 inch. So in other words, where it says 10 inches, that will equal 10 inches. Where it says 20 inches, that will be then 20 inches, and so on and so forth. So here is our system, and we're going to use this system to show you how the blocks work. If you look at the AMC User Unit block, you can see there are two inputs. One of the inputs is called invert position. We're going to start with this one because it's the easiest. To illustrate how this works, I'm going to use the start jog plus block. The start jog plus block tells the motor to move the system in the positive direction at a given speed. When you use the start jog plus function, you should see the ball nut move in the positive direction. As you can see, it is moving in the positive direction, so the inverse position setting is correct. But what if the positive direction was in the opposite direction, like this? Now when you use the start jog plus function, you can see it's going in the wrong direction. To fix this, we're going to change the input value of the invert position from a value of false to a value of true. And now when you use the start jog plus function, the ball screw moves in the opposite direction. So the inverse position input on the AMC user unit block is used to tell the system which direction is positive. Now we're going to talk about the other input on the AMC user unit block. This input is called distance per motor turn. Currently, we have a value of 3,600, which means nothing for our ball screw. For those who don't know much about ball screws, all ball screws have something called pitch. Pitch is the distance the ball screw nut moves per one turn of the shaft. As you can see, the shaft is connected directly to the motor. So in this case, the pitch is the distance per motor turn. When you buy a ball screw, it will tell you what this pitch is, and you can simply just type that value into the distance per motor turn. But let's say we don't know what that is. All we have to do to figure out the pitch is move the ball screw some distance and then count the number of turns it took to move it that distance. So let's try it. Starting here at position 0, we're going to move all the way to position 10 inch and see how many turns of the motor it took. So to figure out the pitch, all we have to do is simply divide the distance we traveled by the number of turns. This gives us a pitch of 0.5 inches per turn. So now that we have our pitch of 0.5 inches per motor turn, we should be able to simply just put this value into distance per motor turn, right? Wrong. This input only supports whole numbers. That means you can't put 0.5 in there. So what do? What if we moved the decimal place by one spot? And then that would give us a whole number. Do you think this will work? So the short answer is yes, it will work. However, there's some things we need to be aware of. To help you understand, I've put this live position readout on the screen, and we're going to move it to different positions so you can see what happens with the position readout. So let's start at position 0, and you can see that the live position is a 0, which correlates to 0 inches. So if we move to a position of 1, this represents 0.1 inches. If we move to a value of 2, this correlates to 0.2 inches. So let's see what happens if we move the decimal place one more time. So starting at position 0, we can see 0 equals 0 inches. If we move to a position of 1, this equals 0.01 inches. And if we move to a value of 2, this equals 0.02 inches. As you can see, we have improved our resolution by moving the decimal place over. And we can keep improving the resolution by moving the decimal place over again and again and again. Typically, I like to have 3 decimal places of resolution, and so that's what I'm going to set it as. And I'm going to use 3 decimal places of resolution for this video and all of the following videos to come. So at this point, you probably think you know everything you need to know about this block. Wrong. There's technically 5 things you need to know. So far, you know how the invert works, and you know how to set up the distance per turn, but there are 3 other things that you don't know, and we're going to talk about those right now. First, what does it mean to have a value of 5 or 50 or 500 as an input to distance per turn of the motor? We know that based on this value, we'll get our user unit set up into inches, either with 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places or 3 decimal places. But it also turns out that it represents the number of distinct stopping locations per turn of the motor that we can do. For example, if we have this set back to only 1 decimal place, so that we have a value of 5 as the input, this means that there's only 5 places per 1 turn of the motor that the motor can stop and know where it's at. If you have 2 decimal places of resolution, then you have 50 locations where it's able to stop per turn of the motor. And if you have 3 decimal places, based on this user units, you have 500 unique stopping locations per 1 turn of the motor. As you can see, not only does it improve our resolution for the unit of inches, but it also allows us to have better resolution of turns of the motor. A couple videos ago, I stated that these blocks could be modified because they're open source. And it turns out that you can technically improve this block so that you don't have this problem. However, that's not how this block is designed, and maybe in a later video I'll explain how you can improve it. But for now, I just want you to use my rule of thumb, which is try to keep the value of this input to a value of 1000 or greater. To be honest, a value of 500 would work plenty fine for most applications, and so that's what I'm going to stick with. But try to use a value of 1000 and greater if you can, especially if you're using camming inside the drive. Then I'd probably recommend 6 decimal places. Now that you know it affects the number of stopping locations, the next thing we need to look at is what happens if we put a gearbox on here. Let's say this gearbox here is a 2-to-1 gearbox. This means that the motor now has to spin twice as much as it did before to go the same amount of distance. So what would the distance per motor turn be? Well, it's quite simple. All we do is take the last value we had and we divide it by the gear ratio, which in this case is 2. This gives us a distance per motor turn of 0.25. Now, of course, we still need to move the decimal place over by 3 places because we said I wanted 3 decimal places of resolution, and we get a value of 250. What if the gear ratio was a 5? All you would do is take our value we had before and divide it by 5, and we'd end up with a value of 0.1 inches per motor turn. Of course, again, we'd move the decimal place by 3 places to get 3 decimal places of resolution, and we'd see we'd have a value of 100. So this brings us to our last point. What if our gearbox ratio gives us a really yucky looking distance per motor turn? Or what if mechanically we just have bad units? Let's say we have a gearbox of 3-to-1. So what we do is we take our old value, divide it by 3, and we'd end up with a distance per motor turn of 0.166666 continuous. As you can see, this number is different from the past numbers. All of the numbers we've had before had a finite number of digits, but this one continues on forever. What this means is if you have an application like a conveyor or a turntable, which moves constantly in one direction, over time you're going to lose track of position. But for a ball screw like this, it's not a problem at all. We just move the decimal by 3 places and we'd have a value of 166. As you can see, we still left 0.6666 continuous not being accounted for in our user units. And it's not a problem with a ball screw or any kind of application where it's just moving back and forth. But it is a problem for a conveyor or turntable or something like that. If you have a problem like that, I would recommend changing the gearbox so that you have pretty units. For example, a 4-to-1 gearbox is close to 3-to-1 gearbox, and it gives you a pretty value of 0.125. This would fix your problem. There's also a couple other ways to get around this too, but we'll cover that in a different video. Thank you for watching the video. If you found this video helpful, you might want to check out the next video in the series. You can find this video by clicking right here. In the next video, we're finally going to start doing some motion. In that video, we're going to start using the jog and stopping blocks. See you next time.